that's a triple play. New episodes, I couldn't wait. Yeah, open your mind at the first gate. Press play, no need to debate. AOA, check me out. Look, clocked in, you can catch the hype. Golden Dawn, how we follow the light. Anime like life, married to it, my wife.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages? Welcome back to the AOA show. I'm your host, always Ian, along with the boys Isaiah.
Oh, hi. Oh.
And Gavin.
What is Gucci Shoes?
And today we're hitting you with some more blog posts, part 20 in our series, which is pretty awesome. We've been at this for a hot minute here. Thank you to all the mods that put this together and make this possible for us to do. Today we are covering Season 3, episodes 29 to 37. If you didn't catch our live stream yet, you definitely want to go do that on the AOA Reacts channel. The link is in the description down below, and check out our first discussion as well on this channel. But we're going to hop right into it. Gavin, fire away with the first chapter.
Oh, so we got chapter 29 going into the books. We got our boy Bam. Oh, Rack and Coon. Look at him. Oh my God.
Good one.
That's like, you guys ever seen Mulan?
I know.
It's like a scene, like, right out of a training montage. That's cool.
I just drew Raccoon Bam training with spears. This week has a lot of content around the Elder. He even brought an ancient out of himself. Gato talked about his relationship with Dang Dang and Louie. This was actually trimmed from the original plan because the other battles became more important, but this will still be one of the main storylines that pull this arc along. Rack made a way using the Spear of the Ancients. The spear still hasn't been ignited, but it's already quite powerful. I wonder how powerful it will be once it does ignite. Interesting stuff. Bam arrives to where Doom is. I wonder how Doom is breathing right now. Anyways, Gato stops him. Considering how Calzone made such a cool entrance, Gato comes in looking like some extra character, but he uses quick movements and attacks. Besides the super high rankers so far, Gato is probably the fastest. Interesting. During the battle, we see the red Thresha going through a transformation. Technically, this isn't a true transformation, but more like Bam absorbing the transformation ability and applying it on his own terms. Since the power of the red Thresha is familiar, it is expressed outwardly. I'm sorry to those who wanted to see Bam with doggy ears. In the last bit, we see Jihad's army surrounding the place. Wonder how the battle will flow? I hope you stay tuned.
Good. All right.
That's interesting that again, we kind of theorized it and it makes total sense, but that Rack is going to keep that spear and he'll probably be the one to ignite it, like, for the first time in however long it's been since the last person did it. So
yeah, that's going to be cool to see. Thank God. All right, episode 30. We have the stare down from the two bros, Yama and Doom. This week, I drew Doom and Yama to keep in theme with the chapter. Both are so muscly. This chapter has a lot of fight scenes. Bomb managed to manifest the red Thresha by using transformation, but it seems like it's not enough to do anything about Gato. Honestly, Bomb standing up to Gato as a regular is a huge feat. Of course, he's also getting plot armor. At least we acknowledge it.
100%, yeah.
The ancient attacks begin. As I was drawing it, I had many regrets. Why did I choose a tree form? I thought it would be too boring to go with just a Shinsu blast, and despite a lot of help from my assistants, it was not an easy process. It definitely looks more detailed though. Well, since the Ancient's attack is so wide, it makes the cage look small in comparison, and Ivan Kel also used a big attack. Ivan Kel took the Ancient and Yama took the Elder. Yama ends up using full transformation. From what he's saying, this only seems to be the beginning of a full transformation. Got it. And it's definitely shining. I wasn't too sure how to make it look, but rather than the canines being animals, they're more like superhumans with animal-based characteristics. Oh, that was a short one. Okay.
That was pretty short. Ew. All right, we got this dope picture of Bam and this ugly picture of Rachel. Chapter 31. For this week's Afterward Doodle, I drew the Thorn and Bam.
It's like that Family Guy thing. You know what he's like? And my 3 loving kids, and it just shows Stewie's head, Ryan's head, and then he just pauses like it's just Boba Fett instead of Meg.
Yeah, I'm like, oh look, Bam, the Thorn, and Rack.
Oh God, bro!
Rejected her from my
Somebody
mind.
needs to just
Amazing.
impose Rachel's head on Meg from Family Guy and just do like the whole thing where he's just ripping on Meg for being Meg.
Amazing.
Shut up, Meg.
That's literally it. And because why Rachel? Yeah, explain yourself. Because she's one of the people that wants the thorn the most. Well, we all want things, I tell you. Yama, having gone through the full transformation last week, is now pushing back on the Elder. It's amazing how this is not even his final form, as it was shown in the last chapter. Full transformation seems to give Yama a considerable amount of pain and burden, so I guess that's why he doesn't start with that all the time. Bam can't get a grip because of Gato's strong attacks. Of course, due to various external circumstances, Gato can't actually try to kill Bam properly. This is when you need to give plot armor to your main characters. Anyway, just as Bam is about to be overwhelmed by Gato's attacks, we see Yvonne Kell's message. Everyone, this is why you always stay where the Wi-Fi works the best, and make sure you take important calls. We see Bam with the thorn for the first time in a while. Even with the thorn, since he's facing a high ranker, this can't be easy, but I hope you look forward to how the story will progress. Also, the last bit is something I added on the preview version, like how I did last week, but it's only some minor changes in direction, no change in content. This is the last of the rushed chapters, so I had to make corrections, but now the chapters will be uploaded as normal, I hope. These days, here we go. I find that as time goes on, it's hard for people to live without worrying about something. Even until my early 20s, I wasn't the type to really worry about anything. But these days, I worry when even something in the slightest goes wrong. You know, being an author, I need to be brave always. Although I give up living a normal and confirmative life a long time ago. If I can't come to terms with that, I hope at least for work, I'll be able to be more brave in life.
All right.
Wow. All right, chapter 33. We have our boy Kalachad.
Kalachad.
Kalachad. Okay, so this time I drew Kalachad as we saw at the end today. He grew out of his hair. Kalachad showed up earlier than anticipated in Season 3. I would love for things to go how I planned it in the first place all the time, but initial plans always get slightly derailed over time. These days I give the excuse by quoting the movie Parasite, saying the best plan is no plan.
Oh man, we're really getting close to where we are.
I was about to
present
say,
time
that movie
because,
is
like,
not old.
No,
Yeah.
I know, and I'm like, this is crazy.
Also, when you said he grew out of his hair, he grew out his hair. But the way you said it made it sound like he was like, oh, he grew out of his hair. And
what? Did I say?
At the top sentence there, he says he grew out his hair, but you said he grew out of his hair. And I just picture Calvin being like, I'm done with this, and throws his hair off his head.
It's time for me to grow up.
That was bad. I didn't even nothing.
Or it's just a ball of hair and Calvin just grows out.
I don't know, man. He's got new hair, dude.
That's hilarious.
This week,
Parasite was a fantastic movie, by the way. For anyone who hasn't seen it, highly recommend.
me actually, I've been wanting to.
It's a good one.
This week, this seems to be a wrap on the fight with Gato from last week. Gato seems to have a rather human side, considering that he was essentially the peak of canines. Maybe that's why he fell in love with a human, not another canine. Of course, that ended up driving all of the canines into danger. I haven't married, nor do I have kids, so I don't know what it is. I don't know what it feels like to be a parent yet, but I do understand the way a parent might feel. Their child is worth more than the world. Interesting. Bam seems to have unraveled the spell rather easily. It may seem awkward that he is able to do something so difficult so easily, but Bam doesn't really know much about sorcery in the first place. So I decided to make it look simple. To add on to the lore as the author, that spell is actually supposed to be incredibly difficult to undo. Yama's side got split up somehow. So, Kel Helm, it's all because of you, Yashracha seems to have noticed Yama's existence. As a bonus, we also get to see Calivan for the first time in a while. Now we have a framework of the narrative of the story of the Walls of Peace and Harmony. Since we have two corps commanders, TN, they would be lower ranking generals, the battles ahead should be rather difficult. Oh, Jesus.
That's a long one.
Yeah. Due to moving the place I work, I take the bus sometimes. And on the little TV on the bus, TN, they have TVs in Korea connected to a dedicated public bus channel. Interesting. They had celebrities talk about whether spring or autumn is better on TVs, that is. I said, of course it's spring. On the inside, If you think about it, in spring, you still have autumn to look forward to, but once it's autumn, the spring that year's already gone. So you end up with a bit of melancholy. Autumn ends up being more lonesome, being a chance to be reflected on the past. I myself felt very pressured and worried this year, but now that it's all past, I think maybe it was all for nothing. And perhaps I may have even made things harder on myself, taking unnecessary detours. Perhaps I bothered myself with extraneous worries when I could be happier. Those were my thoughts.
Point is, you can't control the weather, so don't get too torn up about it, and just live your life in spite of it.
But as he says, I ramble on. Must be the weather. Next week, I will return with that webtoon where they put a dog and cat in the same place. I should let Bam's side show some strength too. Then I hope all of you readers have a happy and healthy week. As I write these afterwards every week, I truly hope all of your week shines bright. Thank you.
Damn right. Thank you.
Beautiful.
What in very good ghosts?
That time of year.
It's Halloween.
Halloween.
All right, episode 34. We
right,
got the boys knocking at your door, trick or treat.
What?
We got
in the
Vampy
actual
Coon,
hell
we got
is
Frankenrack,
Bam supposed to be?
and this is...
I feel like Bomb didn't
I
have
don't
a
know.
costume because he's never had like actual parents, so he's like, I made it myself for Halloween. They're like, do we tell him? And they're like, just
They're
let
like,
him
Bam,
ride
put
with
on something that's terrifying. And he's like, I put on something that scares me the most. Oh, damn. Okay. I was thinking like a mummy, but that's cool. That's cool.
it. Literally, that'd be so on theme too, because the thorn is freaking wrapped like a mummy.
Also, can we get the dedication that Rack painted his whole body green?
100%.
Oh, absolutely,
Amazing.
dude.
Yeah,
you know, Rack is like all
Freaking
in on
Rack
these
is
holiday
amazing.
parties.
100%.
Love it. All right. Today, I was thinking about Halloween, so I gave the characters Halloween costumes. It's strange that Coon seems to really like his Dracula costume, but I think that suits him the best. It definitely does. I will keep it short today because I have stomach inflammation for the first time in a while. Yama's gone, but the battle of the cage continues. The story of Bomb with Dang Dang and Louie is coming to a close. Actually, this was something Bomb had to experience at some point. Someone who reaches out first without thinking about it is doomed to experience this at some point. It's a moment of regret. This was one of the stories I wanted to tell in this arc, and I thought this would be a story that would help grow Bomb internally. But I thought if things like this happen to the main character, you guys may have trouble with immersion, so I tried to be careful about that as the story progressed. I actually really liked that he did that, this chapter, because I was, or this arc, that, like Dang Dang didn't
the thing
come
with
back.
Dang Dang.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Bomb had to come to grips, because I'm gonna be real, I didn't think that was gonna be the case. I thought it was gonna be like everyone lives, hooray. But it wasn't, and I'm glad for that, because I think it's much needed, those kind of things for.
Well, that was one of the things that
character
we, that's actually been hinted at in the story before, right? People like Halloween are always telling Bam, like, look, you're not gonna be able to save everybody. Like, you're gonna get in a situation where like people die.
Yeah.
And I like that Louis sort of like gives that to Bam as motivation. To be like, the next time you're in a situation, remember this day. Remember what happened here, and don't let, like, you know what I mean? Be that person that reaches the hand out for somebody, but, like, save them. And, again, because it's like, okay, you could say that, and it's like, what, Bam's going to save, he's only going to have let one person die? Like, I don't know. But, like, I guess the point is don't give up trying. You know what I mean?
As for Doom, he's seen many cases like Bomb on the battlefield, so he's a bit more weathered and professional. But I want Bomb to be a character who wouldn't lose his way and become dull to this kind of stuff. The battle with the Elder is slowly coming to a close as well, and Yama, who got airlifted away, is seeing his story progress too. Yama seems to only want to return to the cage, and although he is very reckless, he takes his leadership seriously at least. However, he's never held back in this case, so... We finally see Yas Racha, 5th Corps Commander. Is this finally the beginning of the cat and dog fight? The watermelon eyes are actually because I like watermelon. Great.
He went on about this too.
I was
Honestly,
gonna say,
watermelon.
we do have the lore.
Just kidding. It wasn't because of that I wanted Racha to have watermelon eyes, but because after choosing the colors, I totally saw the watermelon theme. So that's how it went.
He's like, it's not because of the watermelon, but it is a little because of the watermelon.
It is certain, as Doom warned, that Yasracha is indeed a dangerous individual. Well then, stay healthy in the cooling weather, and I will come back next week with the watermelon-eyed cat and Mr. Dong King. Dog King.
Mr. Dong King.
I don't know why I said Dong.
Ian's mind was in another
Hello,
place. with
Mr.
that
Dong.
one.
Yeah.
He's thinking about that jacked cock, bro.
He's jacked. I'm telling you, it's inspiring.
That was good.
I don't even know why, dude. I don't even know where I am.
Cloud 9.
I'm drunk. No, I'm just kidding. If you stress too much, you can get an inflamed stomach. Do please stay happy and joyful in life. I'm assuming you have an inflamed stomach, and it's because you were stressed at that moment. And I'm sorry to hear
that's
that.
probably.
Yeah.
He's right.
Have a happy and healthy
Nobody
week.
ever stressed.
Stress actually just kills you, straight up. It like literally releases a poison cortisol into your body, which you need in small doses to not die in the event of danger. But in excess, it literally kills you. So
I don't know. I've used cortisone cream a lot. It's pretty good.
Cortisol.
I'm kidding. I'm messing with you. No, I was literally just. It was a bad joke.
Oh, I was like, Gavin. No, tell our viewers to eat cream.
He's like, Ian, everything you're saying is bullshit. Okay, I've used creams my entire life. Got about 9 different rashes, and I can tell you.
Crazy.
Stress is just weakness leaving your body.
This pain is just.
I know. It was another bad joke.
You're on a roll today.
I know. Roll me up and fry me and call me
But I'm on a roll. Danish.
Danish.
Okay, chapter 35. We got Bam and Yama.
Bayama.
Yama. This week's doodle is of the two who are now in the same boat. If I was being faithful to the lore, there should be a much bigger height difference, but since I need to fit them in one panel, I shrink Yama a bit. If we ever saw the two in action together, that'd be cool. This chapter, like the last one, has the battle happening on 2 sides. The cage front is wrapping up. As we can see from the Elder's words, the Elder wanted to take the canines to the walls, so there was no point in continuing combat now that the spell on Doom was undone. Somebody wants to...
My bad. That's such my bad.
It would be hard to say who would have won the battle if the battle continued, but the Elder certainly didn't feel like he was at a disadvantage. An Elder of Fug faced off rankers for such a long time and have plenty of experience, so they tend to look down on people like those currently at the cage. In a battle with no outside variables and considering only power, it'd be hard to say Ivan Kel or Full Transformation Yama would be behind Cal Helm. But Cal Helm sees fate and has a lot of cards or experiences to pull from. Of course, Ivanka was too busy defending to actually attack. And this isn't full transformation form. Alan just called it that for some reason. From Yama. So this is still a mystery. Lore-wise, if you ignore everything but power, the Yama-Ivan Kel combo is not below Cal Helm.
Man, we got the official word on that for anyone wondering.
Which was kind of confusing because he's like, don't worry, they're not actually stronger than him, but he has a lot of experience. So if they fought toe to toe, it's like, so who?
Bottom line, 2v1. I think they got it.
It's like, say that. Eventually, the Elder suggests to Bam that he goes to the walls. But will Bam actually move to the wall where Caliban is? Please be on the lookout for that. On Yama's side, we have Yama fighting the division commander. This is Yama being strong, not the division commander being weak. A division commander would be the star in a movie of rankers being extras in terms of power. Anyway, Yama may be powerful, but Yasaracha may be a poor matchup for him. We see Yama being controlled by Yasaracha and getting the shit kicked out of himself. That was rough. Being controlled by Yasaracha in the last scene. How will the battle continue? As we have 2 sides of the narrative going on, and they're both pacing to each other. So the progression may not feel satisfactory for either side. Despite this, I'm trying to cover as much ground as possible, so please keep that in mind as you read this. That would be much appreciated. Now that we've been synchronizing until this week, we'll try to cover more next week. Personally, despite the improved weather, I've been having trouble sleeping. Ever since I started uploading, I have a case of insomnia every Sunday night, and these days it's really hard on me. Some say insomnia is an artist's curse, but in this day and age of collaboration, this doesn't end at being a personal problem, which makes it rather problematic. When I think of it, when I worked alone, my hand hurt more, but I was under less pressure. Of course, if I had to go back to that style of work, I wouldn't be able to handle it. I don't know about keeping true to my origins, but I would like to at least be balanced as I continue forward. Tien SIU puns here as origins and balanced share a root word. Oh, okay. I should try working hard. Well then, I'll be back next week with Yama, currently hypnotized. Good night, everyone. Stay healthy. SIU.
Damn.
Hey, physical copies.
Oh, snap. Look at these two little cuties we got here. Chapter 36, starting with Kun and Bam. Why are you laughing at me, dog? I was just trying to live my life.
It was romantic.
It was romantic. I loved it. No doodle this week. Just a copy of the two. Tankobon, mod note, tankobon is the Japanese term for a book that is not part of a series or corpus. Corpus. Wikipedia.
Dead book.
Is it? Wow, that was so gullible. I literally, not a second thought, was like,
Corpse of a book.
That's it. It actually blended. That was pretty
like, well,
well.
books can
All
die.
right, books
That's
can.
trash. Yeah.
Have you ever burned a book? No, I'm
Not
kidding.
even gonna question that.
All right, that was bad. That was bad. I feel like an asshole for that one. But what is a corpus? Anybody actually know?
Oh,
I hate everything.
I'm assuming, just out of context, it has to do with like a series of books. Like
Series or
a series or corpus. So maybe a corpus is like a series of books or like a lineage of books.
like a lineage. Yeah, so
similar,
I guess so. Interesting. Read the afterwards. We are buy the books. I don't think we can. Two birds, one stone. Oh, yeah, no. I'll be quick and then talk about the book. Okay. This week's chapter synced up with the tempo on both sides, and it looks like Bam and the Canines and Kel Helm are now all in the same boat unintentionally. Ha ha ha. Bam and Dang Dang wrapped up, but this isn't the true end of the people of the cage. Actually, I was quite worried for the chapter as it was out of the usual tempo and flow, and I still worry. But in the grand scheme of things, it should be natural. So I hope you enjoy it.
Say that. I don't know about you guys, but like this arc has felt really stretched out to me. And I don't necessarily mean that as in like it was bad, but I just feel like we've been like with the cage and these canine people for like a long time.
I agree. I feel like we've been
like,
for a while.
you know, and again, not because I do actually think he's right in sense it's like, well, it makes sense. Like we wouldn't just eat out of here and like if they're gonna serve this thing for the wall or whatever, but it's like at least in comparison to other arcs, I feel like by now we would have already left the cage and like gone on to another floor or something. I feel like we've been with them for like
I don't know. We have had longer arcs. I just feel like if it plays into the grand plot of the whole storyline, then I couldn't care less. And right now it is. So
I don't like that opinion, guys.
I mean, think about the Hell Train and all. Like, you know, we've been on like, you know, that was 100 chat. Like,
again,
I don't know.
I'm not saying that it's bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm just
I'm
saying
saying it's bad.
No, well, you can say it's bad, but all I'm saying, it's fine. I don't know. I haven't had a problem with it personally. Where are we?
Good
Actually,
thing you don't speak for the whole family.
well, good thing I am because I meet my boy Kitty Man, and he out here ripping bitches
My
up,
boy Kitty
and
Man.
he's looking hella fine. So keep this shit running. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, all the canines are taking a field trip. Haha. Actually, this chapter covered the message of how Yama is lonely, but isn't actually alone. It showed how the canines function as a pack, and this serves as a stepping stone for the coming battles. If you're looking at the fights, or if you're only looking at the fights, that's a lot more. Anyway, the next chapter we'll see Yasuracha move for real. He's kind of cute. He is kind of cute. But he's got a scary power, and he seems to have ties with Yama and the canines. So please look out for how the narrative flows. And the Tower of God Tankobon is finally out. Actually, I talked about the physical release for a really long time, but due to personal problems, it got delayed. I had to change publishers as this was such a long-term project. I think that is the 4th or 5th cover I drew for this. Actually, the Tankobons do not have too much extra to them. Just some of my words and extra doodles are in there as an extra. Book 1 only has the comics. I thought instead of delaying it any longer, I would ease into the release and inserting extras wherever I can. As a webtoon author, I'm not really looking to make even more money off of that, but rather give my readers another form of merch. I hope it does do well still, so it can stay in print. Haha. Interesting. You can buy it online at the online bookstore Yes24, so you can buy it there. And if you ever bring them to me, I can sign them for you. A rare item that took 1,000,000 years to create. Mod note. Here is a link to an eBay listing for those if someone wants them. The weather is really cold. Is this still? Oh, the mod note ended. Sorry, I was like, what is the mod going on right now? The weather is really cold. Please don't catch a cold. And please stay warm. All right. Please stay happy. Have a healthy week. And I'll be back next week. Thank you. P.S. I'm so old, I don't even know when KSATs are here. Hee. For those who are facing the KSATs, I wish you good fighting.
All right, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but we should each buy 6 copies of those books and then fly out to Korea and get SIU to sign them.
Oh, yeah.
Are they in English? I kind of want to
Don't click it. It's going to stop recording.
Okay, I didn't
Don't do it!
I almost clicked it, but I wanted to see. I'm interested.
We'll figure it out. All right. Last episode we covered today was 37.
Ooh, I like this picture.
This week's doodle in...
Oh, my bad. I was looking at the
It's like, are
picture.
you good?
No, the picture.
This week's doodle, in theme with the last panel, is Bomb's party with Caliban. This week we had the fight between Yasracha and Yama's party continue. The Cage and the Canines made such a grand entrance last week, but this week the tables have turned. Yasracha seems to be able to control most of the Houndborn. That's a way cooler name than Canine people. I'm just going to throw it out there. I kind of wish
because Houndborn, it sounds like that's some Skyrim shit. Like that sounds like a name of a species. Where it's like Canine people sounds like an ignorant person referring to the Houndborn.
Yeah,
they don't know the name. They're like the Canine people, you know, with the deers and shit. It's the Houndborn does sound more like a name. You know? It's like,
the Houndborn.
Well, we can't win them all. We're already here. Anyway, only the body on Yama. What? Yama seems to be able to control most of the Houndborn. Only the body on Yama. But the other canines seem to be controlled en masse. There does seem to be something happening between Yasracha and the canines. While the control shifted over to the rest of the canines, Yama goes through full transformation. And then we see Bomb's side. Bomb's party made it to the walls where Caliban is. For the next few chapters, we will be continuing the story of the two walls separately. Later, when their battles merge, their battle will become massive. So the tale of the split brothers worries me. But I still have 9 years of experience, so I hope you guys will enjoy it. Bows and bows. As we proceed, I hope you enjoy the story of the heroes in the walls and the other side stories in the walls as well. This week we had the KSATs. Unlike back in my days, there are many students going for the early admissions program, so some of you already know which college you're going to. But the tests are always a scary moment. To those of you test takers who've come so far, you all did good work. Actually, I've always wanted to do an event for those who have completed the KSATs, but I'm short-handed, so I will do it sometime if I can. Actually, now that the year's almost over, I've been looking around here and there to donate to, but nothing is easy. Regardless, my end of the year resolution is to donate more, at least a small amount. And also, my New Year's resolution this year was to draw out Season 3 good whenever it comes to the end of the year. I always reflect on how much I've fallen short and how I could have done better. Maybe next year I can do a bit better. Now, as the weather gets colder, please be careful of your health. And I will return next week to Bomb's team who flew over to the walls. Stay happy and have a healthy week. Thank you. Mods who worked on this week's blog post include Nicholas and Nathan. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you.
Specifically to Nicholas, because I know he worked on a lot of these last week because they had done some early because they didn't know where we were going to. So
thank you very much. We appreciate all the mods. and all the people that support us and watch these videos.
100%.
So that's going to do it for our blog post read through today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you guys are smashing like for the YouTube algorithm. If you're new here, subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell so you don't miss any future content on the AOA show. Commenting your thoughts down below. What did you think of our read through these blog posts? Was there anything that stood out to you, etc.? Check us out, like I said, on the AOA Reacts channel. The link is in the description down below so you can see our full live read through for these chapters and the ones prior to them as well. Big shout out to our patrons, especially our acolytes at Anime, Stoic, Nathan, and Minduit. We appreciate all of you and your lovely faces. We also have our comment of the day today. Today's comment comes from Maria Kurta Sina. I apologize if I mispronounced that, but thank you very much for watching the entirety of our last week's blog post discussion. Our question was, what was the elder's name that we saw, which was Kel Helm. She says Kel Helmet, of course. Love your videos, guys. Wish you can get more subs because you deserve it. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Your commentary is fun to listen to, too. Yeah, I would hope we'd be entertaining just because it's like, well, we are just like reading through another man's, blog post. So it's like, hopefully we could bring
tragic life story.
It can be, on a real note, it can be tough sometimes to be like, okay, how do you, you spruce that up with the editing and all that kind of stuff. But if we're entertaining to listen to just in general, that's always a plus. So thank you for that. We do appreciate it. As far as questions are concerned for this week's discussion, does anyone have one that stands out to them?
Who is the division commander that just got introduced? Chapters.
Very good one. All right, cool. So answer that question in the comments down below and then comment whatever your thoughts are. We might just shout you out on our next blog post discussion. But until next time, folks, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you all on the flip. Peace.
Peace, peace, peace.
Ninjas are samurais, blaze of the kunais. Find me in the leaf of the cloud, screaming out Bankai. We just some ghouls though, who like seeing parts fly. They like what you saying, Goma got more through the storylines. I tested your neck from the start, my hunters gon' come for your heart. I promise you'll land in my boulevard, left them in one piece, no